and Trevor went and Gills went to Australia. We didn't see much of Trevor after that, but our reunions were really great. The last time Trevor was here with Treasure, they came to our wedding, and it was really cool. We went fishing out from Whakatane, and it was the best day fishing we all had. I think it must have had something to do with Trevor's charming of the fish. He had a way with people too. Trevor was a strong person. He loved his family dearly and always had a smile on his face and a cigarette in it sometimes. And a good laugh. Love you, Trevor, dearly, until we meet again.
I'm Trevor's older sister. I was very, very lucky to have such a brother. He's special, protective, terribly protective, wasn't he, on me? Many a time he'd throw me over his shoulder and take me home from the, whatever pub it was. Some of the times weren't so great. He was so protective, he actually would make me sit with a married couple of friends of his. Any man who came near me, he would tell him in such a language, away from my sister, please. He was just so special. He loved life. He loved all of us. Sometimes we didn't see him for months, years. But the minute you saw him, that smile, that cuddle, how are you, the old girl? Oh, old bag, that's what he used to call me. I'm going to miss those phone calls. We're all going to miss him so much. He was so, so, so special. The world is not going to be such a good place without him. We all just loved him so much. Just like all of you did. Thank you.
One of my fondest memories of my uncle that I still treasure is when my cousin Jeffrey and I, in the school holidays, we would have been about 15 or 16, and he'd come round to visit us, and he walks up to us, and we're thinking we're pretty cool and pretty tough, you know, we were fairly well grown as young men, and he comes up to us and he says, "So you boys think you're pretty tough, eh?" And we go, yeah. So he grabs a hold of us, and we're a lot smaller than him, and he grabs a hold of us by the fronts of our shirts, and he lifts us up in the air, and he goes, "Well, when you can do this, then you're tough." And he was just such a man full of life and love, and always ready to do something exciting. And that's something I really remember fondly of my uncle. I'm just going to ask the Nicholas family to come and sing a song. It's "Let Not Your Heart Be Troubled." So if I can ask the family to come up and sing that with us. It's a bit of a surprise, but I'm sure that we'll do okay. So family, can I get you to come up? And then after that, we'll get friends to come forward and share with us about who Trevor was in their life.
That's all right, anyway. That's all right. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. That's where I am, where ye may be also. Let not your heart be troubled, be believing God. Believe also in me. In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go to prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself. That's where I am, where ye may be also. That's where I am, where ye may be also. That's where I am, where ye may be also.
I just want to say something about that song. I decided to slot it in because when he started getting really sick and we weren't sleeping, that song came to me and wouldn't leave me, and the words just would not go away, and they were my comfort right through it all. And I asked Bunny to send it through to me on Facebook, and every time me and Trevor used to get down and upset, we'd play that song, and we played it right up until the day, even in the hospital, and that's why that song's so special to me.
We're now just going to take some time for Trevor's friends to come forward and to share about him with us.
Looks a bit like Bruce Springsteen in there, doesn't he? Reminded me of him.
That's why we had glory days.
Yeah. He looked like Bruce Springsteen and a cross between the guy off Papillion with his broken teeth and glasses and stuff, the movie from years ago. I love Trevor, it's no secret to anybody. And I know he loved me back. And it was a great thing. We played darts, that was probably our connection. Darts, drinking and smoking. And yeah, and he was excellent. He was an excellent dart player. Years ago at Carlton Street, it was like 20 years ago anyway, from just thinking the other day. He was having some time out from Treasure. And he stayed at home for like about 3 months. He slept on the couch downstairs and by the dartboard, and you could hear him at night, thump, thump, thump. Yeah. But he really improved my darts because he thrashed me so much. He wouldn't let me win. If I wanted to win, I had to get as good as he was. I never even managed that. But you know, I love the guy. I loved his darts. We had a lot of success with darts.
And he was more than that. He was a good worker too, Trevor. He had good work ethics. And I remember driving around Tauranga with him, and he'd point out things that he'd done when he was on PD. He was quite proud of it. And I know when he was on PD that his supervisors used to think he was bloody good because he was such a good worker. Everybody else was sort of shirking off, but Trevor was getting into it, leading the way. Yeah. He always had my back. Some nights he'd want to go out and get into trouble, but he wouldn't let me come. I could just say, I'm going out tonight and you're not coming. So I'm a bit of a goody two-shoes, and he was, yeah, black jeans and studded belt and black vest, but he was wonderful, wonderful guy. Big heart, Trevor. I could probably stand up here and talk for hours, but I'm only preaching to the converted. Everybody else that knows him knows what he was like. And, you know, he's unforgettable. No one's ever going to forget him. Certainly not me. Yeah.
I'm speaking for the veterans. A lot of you guys probably have played in Australia. I went to Australia with Trevor a long time ago. In fact, we had a problem dressing him. As you say, he had a leather jeans, a check shirt, and a belt with a motorbike on. When the RSA travels to Australia, they're as smart as All Blacks and as proud. And I'm proud to have known Trevor. The bugger's got a fag in his mouth now. In my darting days, I smoked a pipe, and he took delight in trying to smoke it, but he couldn't. So he filled it with lion red and thought he could drink out of it.
You know, in life some acts are very, very hard to follow. Tony Cripps is one, and Brian Harper's is another. I'm Bob Sadler, and I'm the Secretary Tour Manager of the Inter-Dominion Darts, and this is what Trevor was supposed to be wearing, by the way. I ran across Trevor in the late 90s. I actually beat him at darts. And in 2000 we played here, and he looked at me with a big, big smile. I was history. He said to me, "Oh, Bobby, I owe you one." Talk about annihilation, I tell you. He just threw darts like they got out of fashion, and he bought me a pint, so it must have been okay. On behalf of Slim Alford, the President of the Inter-Dominion Darts and the Council, we do tend our deepest sympathy to the family. Trevor made the Inter-Dominion team later in life, and well, he wasn't that old, in 2000 to play in, where did we play? Des Moines. But I think he didn't go. I think he must have immigrated by then. But he was a delight, a hard man, and I'm